Welcome to Coach Magic, the show for the woman who is all in on creating a life, business, and family that's beyond her wildest dreams. I'm Jenny Fennig, and I am so excited to help you get confident, focused, and paid. Let's rewrite the rules and get moving in the direction of your deepest desires. Ready, set, go. Okay, here we go, everyone. It is Jenny Fennig here with my friend, Mia Moran, here to talk to you about getting refocused and re-energized to finish 2024 strong. Mia, thank you so much for joining me today. I know, like all of us, we've got a lot going on these days, yes, but I'm so glad we get to spend this time together.
Me too. So fun.
So fun. Rock and roll. All right, so there's a lot of ground we can cover. First off, I want to mention that you and I have in common the fact that we both have 3 children.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And we both live in Massachusetts. Fun fact, everyone. Was the first time we met in person at Kripalu? Was that the first time?
I think so. And it was it was this weird moment where for some reason I had this thought that there was no entrepreneurs or coaches in all of New England. And I heard you on somebody's, I don't even remember how I heard you. And I was like, oh my God, she lives in Massachusetts and I'm going to Kripalu and we should meet. And I don't even know where my brain was, but I really thought that all entrepreneurs lived on the other coast at that moment. I mean, it was over 10 years ago, but it was so fun.
It was fun. Yeah, exactly. And how often do we have these ideas and then you go, what was that? Of course that. But until you have evidence that wait, they do exist and I can reach out and I'm so glad that you did. We've been connected ever since and I'm a big fan of your work. I'm appreciative of what you put out there. We love planning and just trying to make the most of the time that we have here to do our free work, spend time with our friends and families, be healthy, all of it. And so we're going to talk about a number of things today and then Mia and I are going to make an invitation to you all to come join us for something that Mia has created. It's incredible and it's totally free, so stay with us on that. Before we get there, I want to ask you, Mia, one of the hardest parts, especially if you're a parent or not, is shifting gears from summer to fall. I think any kind of shift from season to season has its challenges and opportunities. I find this particular shift is tricky. And so I want to ask you, how do you shift gears from summer to fall?
Yeah, so it's funny. It changes over the years because I'm in a little bit of a different place than you at this point because I've released 2 kids to college. And so I really noticed how there's still I think when when my kids were little, I was always at some point they'll be older and there'll be all this extra time and it won't be a thing. And I will tell you, I have filled the thing with being sad and, not being able to concentrate in a quiet house and all these things. So it's not like that part ever goes away. I feel like there's always a transition to really go through. And so that's really it, is getting conscious about the fact that there is a transition. I find that especially in the summer to fall one, what can happen is sometimes things are a little slower in the summer, whether that was intentional or not. So sometimes it can just slow down because when we didn't even want it to. And sometimes it's because we're taking time off, which is the good way. But then all of a sudden things start picking up. And the thing that I think we forget is things are picking up for everyone around us. And so there's this heightened level of rush and stress. And I think it's just easy to just start going and not really even realize what you're doing. And technically speaking, fall does not officially start until the equinox, which isn't for a few weeks. And so, and Q4 doesn't start until after that. So it's technically we're in this in between time where we could slow down long enough to just catch our breath, pause for a minute. If you have kids, hopefully they're off doing their thing in their next season. And we have this minute to reorganize and be okay, what does business look like right now? What does my health look like right now? What does it look like to be me right now? And because even our role as mother shifts or can shift from season to season. So it's to me, it's really a great opportunity to get current. And that's sort of what I've spent some time doing in the past few weeks, is just catching myself, catching my breath, pausing and like realigning with what I want next.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Really, we're in this liminal phase, and thank you for reminding us all. And I tell people all the time, like, summer's not over yet. It's not. Just because school has started, we're still technically in summer, yes, until the equinox. And so you're not behind. Well, it's behind.
Right.
That's another thing that can freak people out. Like, I'm behind. It's like, come on, we have to move past that, because we can always feel like we're behind. And I'm not sure that serves us. But to really use this time to take stock of, where have I been? Where do I want to go next, from an intentional place, not from this habitual, well, this is what I have to do because this is what I've always done. I love how you walked us through that, and especially to the vulnerability and the honesty around having some space for the feelings. It's not like, it's really quiet. And I feel
it is a whole new ball game.
A whole new ball game. Sure. And
also on that behind piece, one of the things that I find is really interesting is a lot of times when you dig into the behind, like feeling behind, it's like that piece where we haven't caught up to actually where we are now is a big part of that. Because I think a lot of times we're feeling behind from like before the summer even started, like, because we're not even sure, like, we don't even have anything to be behind on yet. So it's almost like this like lasting feeling that's usually quite old. And so if we start to look at like what it is that we're actually starting or moving toward, it's not even supposed to have started yet. So we're not behind.
Exactly. We've got to reclaim that truth. And some of us, myself included, I come from a corporate background before I became an entrepreneur, and there was always that feeling of behind. And you might have gotten that too from school. Like you're behind, and it can wreak havoc on your own peace and on your mind. And then you make decisions that aren't really in line with what you want to do, because you're like, I'm just trying to get caught up, and you need to really open up space in the brain. And so that leads us into this next question I'd love to hear your take on, is how do you figure out what matters most in your business in this season? There are so many things that we could do. How do you figure this out for yourself, and perhaps counsel clients on this as well?
Yeah. So for me, it's really a centering activity. So there's a lot more woo to it than probably, there might be for everybody. But I find that creativity is like in those quiet moments. So what I generally do is it's really about taking that time to really like journal, get clear what's next. I mean, I'm a business owner, so I'm not going to lie. What's coming up right now is a quiet moment that I took back in May, so it's like, but there is this like aspect of like just being in what really matters. And actually, especially in my personal life right now, I've spent a lot of time like really looking at, okay, what does it actually mean to be a mother right now? Because I'm spending my time very differently. Like it's different. I have one kid who's abroad, as you know, in Sweden, and one who's just started college, and it's not about shuffling people around anymore, which is how I spent my time. I have one who I still shuffle, but it's different than shuffling 3 around at the same time. And so I've really been thinking about like, well, what is really important to that role? And it's very different, and it still takes time, but it's different time at different times of day. And it's just a whole different rhythm to it. So same with my work. It's like, okay, like I'm heading into this next, what we're creating right now has really caused me to evolve to my next level as an entrepreneur. I'm not going to lie. And so it's like, okay, how do I need to show up right now? So it's a lot about like, how do I need to show up to what's happening and to what I want to make happen, and also to the season that I'm in, right? So there's different things that define the season, where I am in motherhood, where we are like literally in fall, where I am in the growth of my business, where I am hormonally, like there's lots of different pieces that define a season. And really getting clarity on all those helps me understand what's really important right now, because otherwise it's like there's a lot of noise, like always. And there's particularly, I think, a lot of noise in changes of seasons about like what we should be doing. And then right now, if you're in the US, we're in the midst of this election, and like there's just so many things that could be vying for our attention. So I think it's really about being like, okay, there is all that. And where do I really want to be putting my attention?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's coming back at the centering practice is really powerful for you. One of my favorite questions to ask is, what is the highest and best use of me
Yeah.
in this moment, in this role, in this project, in this whatever? Because there are so many inputs and distractions and messages about what you should be looking at or shouldn't be. And so you really have to figure out what is right for you. What is right for you at this moment.
And then I will add that, like, I think a big part of the change of season work is, and like just being human probably, but I think it's more during a change of season, is that oftentimes I find where I need to put my time is being okay with what I don't have time for.
Yes.
Right. So like there's a big aspect of like, yeah, I could be doing these 100 things, but I've decided I'm doing these 3. And so as it comes up of like, you know, there might be a moment where I feel behind, even though I know better. There might be a moment where I'm feeling overwhelmed, even though I know I have the perfect amount of stuff on my plate. And so it's like making space to just remember that those things aren't true.
Right. Absolutely. What is true? Is this really true? It's another great question to ask yourself. Do you have a favorite tool or app for staying organized, whether it be business perspective, personal, anything you want to offer?
Yeah, I mean, we have a 90-day planner. So I'll plug that right now. So I generally am working from a 90-day plan, but for me, it's really like the tool, and as a business, we do use Asana. So I'll plug those 2 things like as real tools. But for me, what I find is most important, because I go through moments where I'm good at, if my team's watching this, they're laughing at me, because I definitely go through moments where I check off things on Asana and moments where I don't.
Right.
And I go through moments even with my own planner where I use it and I don't. But I find that's what's most important is that I have there are these 3 qualities. I've like done that more woo work to get centered and really understand what I want. I've sort of made the list to know what that entails, but then I have anchored it in time. So I always make sure I have some way that I'm really like clear that this is what my week has capacity for.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going from like the endless list that usually is more like my life's work and less my week's work. Mm-hmm. And whatever that is for you, like whether sometimes it's like literally I just need to put everything on my phone and, be just looking at my day. And honestly, like that's what I'm doing right now because I'm very booked heading into this event we have. Mm-hmm. And I just look at my day and I know exactly where I have to be in the next moment. But that really anchors me. And yes, there are 50 bazillion other things I probably could be doing, but like this is what we decided is important.
Exactly. I love how you broke that down. Your life's work versus your week's work. That's a great way to think about the app that I just started using in the last I think it started early in the year was the reminders app on my phone. Mm-hmm. Oh, that has changed my life.
The alarms? Like the alarms?
Reminders app. It is it looks like, I don't know if it might be a Google product or something. It just says reminders. You may have to download it from the App Store. Because I'm in the shuffling children around phase of life. That's my era. And that's a whole thing.
It is a whole thing. Sorry, I've been there.
Bringing the child to the wrong place. And I'm like, how did I do that? I knew to bring him to this one. And I brought him here because it was out of the norm. It was like holiday break. And all of a sudden, and someone did mention that to me. And I started using it. And it really has changed my life. So shout out to the Reminders app.
Yeah.
Love talking tools like that because that's real life. Okay, we're all doing our best, but we're human and there's only so much our brains can hold.
And so does it like make a sound for you, like to remind you?
It's a push notification. So you could say, make sure you bring XYZ to this place because it's not the normal place. I just need my mind needs that reminder. You can set a timer for a certain day time. It can be a weekly recurring, a daily recurring, a yearly recurring, a month, whatever. And so it just takes it out of my brain. I use it more for personal stuff, but there's times I'll put a business piece in there because I too use Asana, but there's a gazillion things over there. And sometimes you can be like, great, hold on, there's a lot.
Well, it's funny because just today I'm doing a couple of meetings like this. And I knew I was busy. So I'm so excited about this app. But what I do is sometimes in the morning, I'll wake up and spend 10 minutes just in my phone, like alarms. And like, I sometimes remind myself of health habits, like drink a glass of water, or a big one right now is like, remember you have a dog, like take the dog out. And I have to bring a snack to my daughter left this morning and she's like, you're coming to my game today, right? And I was like, of course. And she's like, okay, I need this drink, this snack, and this pair of shoes. And so like, I just set an alarm in my phone that was like, leave with this snack.
Exactly. And that's where I would use the reminders app for me personally, because I can put it in the daytime and then all those notes.
I love it. I'm going to go check it out.
And drop a photo. I mean, it's incredible. It really is. So let me know if you use it and if you like it. All right. Well, let's talk about this incredible event you've put together, the Back to Business Week. And I'll tell you, Mia, I mean, you and I have been in this business a long time, and I get a lot of summit invitations. I've participated in things in the past, and often I say no. And I said yes to this one because it was so well done. It was so well designed. I really appreciate your work. I touched your work. And what you have created is really phenomenal. And I know it's going to help people get back to business. And so what was the genesis of this idea? Like, why this idea, and what are you most excited about?
Yeah. So again, it all goes back to one of those centered moments. And it actually happened in May during my birthday month, when I was taking a lot of extra time to like be centered and quiet. And I have been running. So I've been running like quote unquote summits for years. I can't remember if Jen Mazer is a friend we share in common, but we used to meet quite often. And she was like, you have to do this summit thing for a long time. And she just kept seeing that it like matched with qualities that I have. And so eventually, I don't know, maybe it was like 5 years ago, I was like, fine, I'll do it. But I can't do it the way that it's like been done, because it felt really like irky. Like it just didn't feel great to my system. And I had been a part of a few, and I had started to say no to a lot. And I just felt like sometimes I didn't even know the person asking me. So like I felt disconnected from, what was happening. But even if I knew the person who asked me, I really didn't like know everyone. So it took me a few times. But one of the things that I realized and sort of downloaded in May was like, oh, part of the problem is that the speakers are so disconnected from each other. Like, why would they feel comfortable sharing these other people that they don't even know? Like, not that everyone has to be the same, but it's like, I feel like we're all relational human beings more, and that's feeling really important right now, particularly. So it's like, what if all these speakers met each other? So that was like one of the things that 6 summits in, I was like, I think that's going to be an important part of what we do. So that was a big part of it, that you got to meet a lot of people. And, we started like a lot of the people I know. So I was so excited for everyone to meet. And then another piece of it was that I feel like I'm a time person, and I feel like oftentimes summits are a waste of time. And I think that's part of the tactic of having people, buy, is that obviously it's more time than you can do. And we do have an upsell for anyone who can't be there, but I really wanted it to be like really respect people's time. And so I have I apparently talk with a lot of people often, but I have a videographer who I meet with, once a month or every other week. We just do a mastermind at a coffee shop, just to get out of the house. And I was telling him that I just really wanted to like dial in these teachings so that they were as just honoring of people's time as possible. And he was like, you can totally do a talk in 5 minutes. And I was like, really? You really think someone could communicate something in 5 minutes? And he's like, absolutely. So I was like, great, will you come teach us? So we tried this once in December on a different topic. It wasn't about business. And it was a little bit more of like it was about getting ready for December and like quieting down at the end of the year. So it was like a little bit more like self-care-ish. So the topics were a little more could bring you to tears, I guess. But like every time I saw one, I would like just cry. And I couldn't, I just let that be. And then this time I started getting the videos again, and it would be like, this is how you use AI in a really great way in 5 minutes. And I would cry. And my husband was like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you crying? They're teaching like Instagram tactics and like whatever. And I was like, it is just unbelievable what can happen in 5 minutes when somebody like really focuses on what they want to teach in 5 minutes. And so, and it never to me, like, I mean, obviously the video ticker is saying 5 minutes, but one time was like, I'm going to time it on my phone too, because there's no way this was 5 minutes. Like, it really is time bendy. It's weird.
Yeah.
So a big piece was 5 minutes. So we have 12 talks a day and it's an hour. It's like everybody has 5 minutes or an hour. If you don't want to learn all the things, it'll be less. And so that it started with that. And then what we do around here is I'm basically often helping people plan their weeks and also follow through on things. So it's like the closest I can come to coming to your house and hand holding we do in terms of follow through and getting people to, do what they say they want to do. And so we're having these get it done sessions that we often do with clients so that people are actually implementing the work. So for me, this really felt like it was a coming together of my strengths. I had done in my birthday month, I had been studying at a deeper level my human design, and I had been looking at the gene keys, and I had gotten like an astrology reading, and it was like everything was pointing to all these things. And I was like, what if I just put it all together into one thing? And this is how we landed here.
Voila. Back to this week.
Yeah.
And everyone get excited because you can get involved. It is September 16th through the 20th, right, Mia?
Yeah.
And people just really need an hour a day to go through these videos from incredible experts, incredible speakers on all different kinds of topics. And you've done a nice job every day of theming it out and right, slotting the speakers in under the theme that they most go with. And then, like you said, you have these get it done sessions. You're also having this kickoff bonus workshop on planning your fall flow, which is really, really incredible. And I'm thrilled to be involved. I am thrilled. And I will tell you that 5-minute video definitely stretched me. That was part of the thing I said yes. I go, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this. It was not easy, but you know what? I used a tool. Here's another one of my favorite tools, Descript.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Which I had used for audio a lot, but never for video, I don't believe. And so I filmed my take, and it was like 9 minutes because I would speak out something a few times until I got it, and then uploaded it into Descript and edited it down, and it became 5 minutes pretty easily. And it was just fascinating because Descript also has this tool where if you're like looking at a teleprompter or your notes or something and you're not totally focused straight ahead at the camera, it has a tool now where it can make it look like you're totally focused straight ahead at the camera.
Crazy.
Amazing.
Well, and also if video editing stresses you, you can just delete the text, right? So you can go from the text angle instead.
That's it. No, I didn't. I'm not editing video. Like, don't get me started to that. It's the text. You're literally, it looks like a Google Doc, and you're just editing lines of text and then getting this final product that's clean and crisp in 5 minutes or whatever your time is. So for everybody tuning in, there's a lot of tools out there. You're going to learn about some of these tools. There's going to be a lot to it. All right, so Mia, I'm going to give everyone a link that they can go to be a part of this. Again, this is totally free. And if they want to upgrade, what would be the upgrade, Mia? Why would somebody want to do that?
Yeah, so it's $47, and it's just if you want the library beyond the week. So it's 5 days. Every day, these 12 videos are going live. They will be live, through the Saturday evening. I think we have a plan to start taking down the Monday ones on Saturday night, so they'll go away. And then they'll sort of be rolled up into a course. So if you can't come live or you can come live and you just want, you're probably you'll be able to take in all of them, but you probably won't fully implement all of them next week. So if you wanted to have them to remember, you might do it. And then the other thing we're doing is that the co-working sessions, I may record them just to see what they are, but probably that's not what I'm going to put in the replay. But we have recorded get it done sessions, and I had been looking at bean keys, and I had gotten an astrology reading.
Sorry, I opened up a video and it was you. You're like, I'm hearing myself talk. Yeah. So they have the opportunity to have these as part of their library.
Yeah, exactly. It just becomes a library. And there's a few bonus things that help make what was live experience more an ongoing experience. So will be put into that offer.
I love it. I know a lot of my clients have signed up. They've gone for the upgrade so they can have these incredible drops of wisdom, that's what I'm going to call them, at their fingertips. Okay, everybody, so you can go to jennyfenning.com/back. That's jennyfenning.com/back. I'll drop that link after we wrap today. I am excited to see people there. I'm excited to get back to business myself because my summer I definitely downshifted and I have no regrets on that. It felt incredible and I feel that fire under me. And so I think it's really important for us to embrace whatever decision we make and embrace the season that we're in. And if you are like Mia and myself and a lot of other people who are saying yes to this back to business week, and you really want to get back into that excitement and that joy for the work that you're meant to do in this season, then it would be incredible to have you join us. jennyfenning.com/back. Totally free. If you want to get the upgrade, you can do that. You'll see how you can accomplish all of that when you go to the page. And Mia, thank you so much for joining me today and having this conversation. Congrats for what you are creating, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being a part of it. I can't wait for everyone to hear yours.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Thanks. And we will see you again. If you have questions, drop it underneath the video. And until we see you at Back to Business Week, keep rising, keep rocking, and let's do this thing. Bye, everybody.